the week ahead. By the way, just as a bit of a recap, a couple of things regarding last week. It was a very, very news-driven week. Anybody that traded would have seen there was swings of 2, 3, 400 pips for the week. Very volatile as we spoke. The biggest question that was asked from me was regarding our Aussie dollar, that we had an interest rate drop and then the Aussie US dollar went up. How do you explain that? Not only from you guys, I've just through people that I know that are in the industry. I've got a lot of emails. Christian, can you explain this? Why has this happened? The answer was, well, for me, it was very, very simple. The market was expecting a drop, which we spoke about last week. I was expecting quite a big. It was almost unanimous that everybody was thinking it was going to happen. It finally did happen, and we got a knee-jerk reaction to it, so the market dropped straight away. Now, if you go back, and let me just pull up a chart so that I can comment on that. Here's the Aussie dollar. This is a daily chart. Let me get a marker up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it went down 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and created this little wick down there, which was only about 60 odd pips, and then within about 5 to 10 minutes, and then just proceeded to head in that direction, and that's what confused everybody. The reason for that was more or less in the minutes that accompanied the rate drop, there was strong insinuations that they were making a rate cut now, and they felt that they were not going to require another one or further cuts throughout the year. So the market basically interpreted that as the economy was good. This was a rate that had to happen. It was expected. It was foreseen. So it has. And now we're basically moving on and everything looks nice. That's what caused this large candle last week when we got that rate. Okay, so sometimes the number itself is often not the straightest or the easiest answer. It's what's hidden behind the words of the statement that is read out that basically gives us the indication. The only drama is that gets read out live, and as people are hearing it live, they're starting to react to it. So you kind of got to get accustomed to the types of words. What I would suggest to you is practice reading old statements. If this is something that you want to pursue and you want to try and analyze them, there's lots of opportunities, certain keywords that we're looking for, and then that's where all that came from. Okay, all right. So that was that non-farm payroll as well last week. It was a good number, but it wasn't a sensational number. All right, so which is basically put the US economy on, well, we were expecting something better. It was, but it wasn't great, meaning that it's business as what we thought a month ago. We're still on track to think that we are going to increase our interest rates around about September time. So we're going to presume on that path. Okay, so that's what the I guess a summary that came out of non-farm payroll numbers for the US. Now, for this week that we have, the other major thing that, sorry, I forgot to mention for last week is the UK elections. All right, so basically, UK elections, the government stayed in power, so I forgot his name, Mr. Cameron or something. If I'm wrong, please correct me. And consequently, what it caused was this huge candle as a result of that, and essentially the market has interpreted it as it's the same government, we know what to expect from them, and we're very happy with the decision, and we are continuing forward. That's how the market interpreted that election result. All right, and by the way, that was a 270 point candle. So it was some movement. All right, so this week, what have we got this week on the card? So for this week, we have the key figures this week is there's basically from the US side, it's retail sales. Okay, so the US retail sales is going to be the most significant indicator to match up with those job numbers that we got on Friday. Job numbers were up, but have we spent more money? Okay, so this is key. If this number comes in good, this could start to feel the recovery and the next stepping stone for the US to really start to build some momentum. All right, so retail sales numbers is very, very important. For the UK or the pound, we have the inflation report. Now, this is one that doesn't have a number, as I said, and essentially what we're looking for here is they're going to give us what their monetary policies are for the next quarter. Now, we've just had the elections, we've stayed in government, and the Prime Minister has remained the same, nothing has changed. So this is key, all right, in the plan if the GBP breaks that 155 level, all right. So this is the big one there. The other thing that's happening big this week for the euro is Greece, which is today and tomorrow. They're due to make a payment tomorrow. It looks like they may default on that. What it's going to cause for the euro is it's going to cause a lot of volatility. Now, the market is largely expecting them to default or some type of default. So a default on a payment is not really going to send the euro crashing. What it will do is it will move it down, but it's going to be volatile up and down. So really, for the euro, what I'm going to try and see if we can find some arranging strategies, because they tend to do really, really well with this type of behavior. Okay, I don't foresee that a drastic Greece default on a payment is going to cause the euro to drop 500 or 600 points. That's not what I'm expecting. You never know, but that's not what I'm really expecting. But I could expect that news to provoke a 100-point movement, and there's plenty of opportunities in that as well. Okay, so for the Aussie, we have our budget release. This is a bit of a weird. It happens at 7:30 p.m. So, which is that strange time. So it's more the overseas market, how it reacts to it. Traditionally, it hasn't been a big market mover. All right, so don't expect anything too much out of that, but just point it out. And the other one is the stability report for the Kiwi dollar. All right, now the Kiwi dollar dropped significantly on the back of data last week. When we look at that, we'll have a look at a couple of trades that we had on that, played out really, really well. But that's basically what I have for you on the Kiwi dollar. So this week, it's a little bit of a mixed one. It's a tough call between, say, the Kiwi dollar and possibly the GBP USD. So I'm going to slightly lean towards the GBP USD as the big mover for the week, and primarily because of the post-election, the inflation report is a big thing. Retail sales in the US could help as well, so we'll have to see what happens. There's also, I just saw it now, the official bank rate for the GBP. No one is expecting a change there, but nevertheless, it is coming out. Okay, and actually that's tonight at 9 p.m. Alright, so GBP USD is the one under the spotlight for news this week. Let's move on to our charts. Let's see what we can find, and we'll progress through. By the way, any questions, please type them in and I will analyze them for you. Okay, alright, so Aussie dollar. So I'm on a daily chart here, having a look at our Aussie dollar, and there's one thing that clearly strikes me out. The dollar has pushed really, really hard to break the 80 level. It's come down, it's pushed again, and it appears to me that the movement is exhausting itself. Okay, that was the 80 level that I have previously marked on my charts, and what I can clearly see on the Aussie dollar is as follows. If I step into a 4-hour chart, you guys should be able to see it with me straight away. I'm starting to see the movement being exhausted. Alright, so what I'm really expecting, or what the movement that I want to happen is, if we get those US retail figures anywhere half decent, what I want is this movement down here. Okay, so that's the trade that I'm going to be looking for. Now we could get I do think I could get one more bounce to the top side before we head down. I'm not willing to trade this, so I'm not trading this. If we do get a bounce, I don't care. I'm not going to trade it. Okay, what I'm really looking for on this trade is I want a clean break on the downside. So for example, let's say if this fails right now and it doesn't bounce, basically what I'm looking for is a candle that looks something like that at the start of the next candle. I'm all over that. Alright, the level, just so that you get an idea, you would have to break that level there, and not just break it, you want to close below it. That's the 78.60 level. So if that happens, then we should be in. I've stepped into a 4-hour chart. Just please note that I'm on a 4-hour chart at the moment. It just clearly to me looks like it's pushed up, it's pushing, it's exhausting, and it's about to give way. We may get one more push, like I said. We may go one more time to there. All right. Now, if we do go up one more time, this trade from that point downwards, it's not a trade that I would recommend. On what I'm seeing, I favour it a little bit today. But what I will say to you as, let's call it homework, if we do get a bounce, don't trade it, but at least watch it. Okay, because if we do break upwards and we take out that, well then I'm quite happy to change my mind and trade the other way. Remember, today is not about being correct. It's about trying to find where the trading opportunity is that has the highest probability. So let's not confuse those two. I can see there's a few new faces in the room, so I don't want you to leave and say, well, Christian said go one way, but then he wants to change his mind the other way. Of course, he's always going to be right. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to find the trade that has the highest probability. Okay, so the one that I really like, the one that I'm favouring, is a clean breakdown and to head in this direction. Any questions on that, guys? Is that clear for everybody? Everybody understands how we would position ourselves for that trade? Yep. Thank you. Okay. It's unanimous. Fantastic. All right. Let me have one quick look on a daily. You can see it there on my daily chart. There's the chart. Let's stick to that. I'm just going to draw a line so that I remember what I'm looking for next week. Okay, let's move to the Euro USD. Okay, from memory last week, let me get rid of these for one moment. From memory from last week, we said for those of you who are aggressive, we were over here, we were about there where I'm just drawing that mark. We said we could take a trade straight on the break of this candle over here, take it straight down. Did anybody take that trade? If you did, the trade got as far as 105, 107 pips, which was just a slight little bit less than 1-to-1. Did anybody take it? Can I just get a show of hands? Lois took it, Rav took it. Okay. Alright, well, hopefully you didn't get burnt on it. It almost got to 1-to-1, almost. So maybe you've taken something out of the trade or not. It rebounded. The euro's just been very, very volatile. It just came down and then just shot straight back up. What I can see on the euro for this week is, as I noticed, there's starting to create possibly a new channel here. It's not confirmed as yet, but what I'm looking for, if you were, let's say, since we're in volatility at the moment with the euro, okay, I'm kind of expecting it to do quite a lot of that. So what I will be looking for is this: if this continues to go down and it gets to this region here, at that point I will be looking for this trade. Now, let's not get too aggressive on it. So make sure that we find some really good price action to protect us a little bit. Alright, so for the newer people in the room, what I'm going to be looking for, and if you may have to go back and review another class, but I'm going to be looking for some kind of a candle sequence that looks something like this. Oh, let me start again. It may be something like this, and then I'm going to get an inside candle, and then on the third candle, as soon as I break that, that's what I'm going to get. And this candle over here is going to have the fractal, so it'll come down to some level, and I'm looking for a pattern, something like that, to give me a bit of a sign that we've hit some kind of support level and it's bouncing. We get the break at the top, and then I'm happy to trade the channel. The level is roughly going to be at around about, well, depends on the angle. Okay, so this is tricky. If it comes down like this, or if it comes down quicker, so but it's going to be roughly around about the 109 level. All right, if it lands at about 109, it's actually quite a good thing as well, because it's a nice round number. So around about the 109, you can start to look for it. Okay, so that's what I can see. That's on a daily. If I step into a 4-hour chart, let's see if I can see anything different. I think there's an ABCD here. Give me 1 second. Let me just double check. Not quite. It's just overshot it. Can everybody see what I was looking for? It was very, very close. And it would be a trade right now. Here, I'll show you what I'm looking at, guys. I was just super zoomed in. I was looking from that point all the way to there, all the way to there, as an A, B, C level, and then down here to a D level, which would mean there's a trade in that direction right now. Now the only problem is this level here is good. It's a 78.6 Fibonacci. This one here should be a 127.8, whatever. It's just overshot it a little bit. So let me just measure it one more time just to double check it. See, the 127 is there, and it's shot through by a little bit. So it's not exactly, but it's close-ish. So if anybody likes it, it's in that direction. I think it's not close enough. Okay, so but that's what I was looking for. So let me just zoom back out. So not quite. So let's just stick with the original plan. Let me just draw this line again. And we're going to wait to see what happens around about this area here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave a mark on my chart just to remind me. Are we all good? We all understand what the plan for the Euro USD is. And Lois is saying a 4-hour counter trend has been triggered. Okay, yes, probably it would be Lois, especially since it's nearly an ABCD pattern. What Lois is saying is this. Give me 1 second. Based on one of the counter trend strategies that we use, there could be. We just need to wait for this candle to finish out. As soon as that finishes, we could get a fractal down here, and then we could be ready to take it that way. For those that like the counter trend method, okay. All right, let's move on. Let's have a look at the GBP USD. GBP USD. Okay, so we already spoke Friday. We got the huge candle, a combination of the elections and non-farm payroll. Okay, What's very, very important that we have to note, if I super zoom out, and that little mark that I had left, if I bring it all the way out, this area is that 155, which has previously acted as somewhat of support. It's acted as resistance. It's acting as resistance again, and it's causing us confusion in the market. All right, so what do we do? Now, it's tricky. Let me step into a 4-hour chart, and one of the things that I can think of to do, give me one moment. I get the feeling that we're going to be playing in this area a little bit. All right, now, if I was very, very aggressive, notice how this is getting very, 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 very tight. Okay. Let me just measure a couple of things. I'll just put you on silent for 1 second. Okay. My natural instinct was to trade it down. However, when I step into a 1-hour chart, it almost looks like a flag pattern. So I'm not going to. So there's a nice pole there, and it's not exactly the perfect flag, but that's what the flag looks like. So my natural instinct was I wanted to go this way, but no, I'm not going to. So, and if there's too much confusion in the chart, I'm just going to let this one ride. So what I would be interested in though is if we were to get back to lower levels, I would be interested in perhaps looking to see if we can get back up there. But I'm talking about this level here, all right, which is around about the 151, which is a little bit far away. It may not move as much this week. So it's going to be a bit tricky. Well, look, let's just say GBP USD, unless you can see something differently, maybe just leave this one alone for this week. Getting asked the question, what value moving average do you have on my chart? That's a 50. I always have a 50. Let me double check. Yes, it's a 50. It's a 50 simple moving average. Okay, I just always have it on my chart. I don't know why. I just do. Okay. And another question, can we still test the London session? Yes, trading the London session is based off a 5-minute chart, so that's okay. So what you're actually doing is you're trading the volatility and the movement of one little session, so that's okay. So if that's a strategy that you trade, that's not a problem. Just go for it. All right. I'm just talking about a longer term trade, the ones that we find here on a Monday. All right, let me move on. Let's have a look at gold, what gold is doing. Gold is not doing anything. It's broken down. It's teasing us. It's going sideways. This is one of those situations that if I was in this trade, to be honest, it didn't play out the way that the chart should look. All right, so it could well and truly get down to the level that we were looking for. But if it does all this like this and then goes, it's not really what we were looking for. What we were looking for was this break and then straight down. That didn't happen. If you're in this trade and you basically you probably made a little bit right now, you might consider just jumping out of the trade. All right, let me see if I can find something new on gold. Give me one moment. Can everybody see it? Who can see what I can see? Anybody want to have a guess? I'll give you a clue. Let me get rid of those lines first so I don't confuse you. I'm on a 4-hour chart. The trading range was there. We broke it down and then we broke it up. What can we see? When we break a range up and down immediately back to back, what do we always look for? Someone said an ABCD. No, not quite. Any takers? Convergence, I'm looking for a triangle. Okay, so I want the market to converge back on itself. Alright, so on a 4-hour chart, oops, wrong line. I can now see this. So this would be tradable. Alright, so if anybody wants to trade this, I've stepped into a 4-hour on my gold chart and I don't really have a preference in which way this will break. Just if it breaks up, you may want to take a bit of profit there, alright, before you go for your next target, which will be around about that level. If it breaks down, likewise, before you go to your next level, which would be around about there. Now, those levels, I'm getting it straight from there, which would be the equal amount. Alright. This is one that I don't really mind which direction, as long as I get a nice clean break out of it. Alright, so that's the best thing that I can see on gold right now. If you happen to be in the original trade, alright, what you can do is, if you're in the original trade, you're in short. So that means if we break up, then just stop yourself out. But if we break down, just staying with your trade. And what you can then do is you'll get an opportunity to move your stop, because if, let's say we break down there like that, and you're already in the trade, if you enter right there, your stop will be over there. So that stop is lower than the original stop that we had from the daily chart. Alright, does that make sense to everybody? Yep, fantastic. Okay, alright, so that's gold. If anybody's interested in that one, let's move on. US yen. Okay, the US yen is holding. We didn't get a breakout last week. Like these areas there wouldn't be considered, they're not breaks. We didn't get that clean candle. We are threatening today with this candle, but we've got to wait until it finishes. What I would like to see is that candle like that, and then tomorrow hit the trade forward. So that's what I would be looking for. I get the feeling though that we may come back one more time before we make the movement forward. Alright, so but keep an eye on this one because it's been very, very, very close. It hasn't triggered yet, but we are there or thereabouts. This pattern is now taking well, 11th of March, so it's a 2-month pattern, which means a lot of people have seen it, which means it'll have a lot of participation. Okay, so US yen, that's what we can see. Just hang in there for it. We may get it 7 a.m. tomorrow. When we get the next candle, we may be ready to take the trade. Alright, Euro yen. Euro yen had the same story as the Euro USD last week. Okay, remember I said if they kind of correlate heavily, so if you take one, don't take the other. It broke down through that level just like the Euro USD, but then it shot straight back up. So hopefully you only traded one, not both. At the moment, with the euro yen, I see it very, very volatile. And what I'm kind of interested in is, let me just get rid of some of these markings on my chart. Okay, we can see that we're in some kind of, I'm expecting a little bit of noise. Okay, now the euro is one this week that we can expect it to move around a little bit in that fashion. So what I would be looking for is, I would be interested in having a look at some counter trend strategies within these boundaries. So the way that I would do it is, I would step into my 4-hour chart. Now the top and the bottom is more or less confirmed for me, or what I'm, if we get towards these levels, it doesn't have to be exactly, because I'm going to do it on price action. Remember the counter trend method that I showed you? Go back and review it. But if we get a candle combination around about this area, so it could be a little bit lower, it doesn't really matter, that shows you the zigzag with the entry to go forward, that would be a good signal. And likewise, if you saw another one in that area, that would be a good signal to come back down. So what you're probably going to have to do is go back and review how it works. What I might do is, I might cover it on Thursday, but we may get some trade opportunities before Thursday. So if you want to take advantage, you're going to have to go back on your own and do it, because we're getting close to a level right now. So even if this current one right now, and I think Lois said earlier in today's session, there's a counter trend setup on the verge of happening. If the current candle, this one here, finishes up roughly where it is, we could get a trade setup on the next candle, which happens when? When's the next candle? Do I have a timer candle on one of these? Give me one moment. Four, 8. I think it's in 3 hours. Alright, so you'll have to come back and check it out. So someone says 7 p.m. Yeah, so that's in 3 hours. Okay, so what may happen, 3 hours is a long time, and we're about to come to London. I think this candle's going to go lower, so then that means you're going to have to wait for the next candle to see if we get the setup like that. Alright, so which will make it 11 p.m. tonight. Well, you could get a trade at 11 p.m. tonight. Alright, so put that one on your radar. Alright, by the way, I'm talking Sydney time, so wherever you are, just make an adjustment for that. Alright, so that's the Euro Yen on my daily chart. There's nothing else that I really like. No, we'll stick to what I said. We're looking for a price action counter trend trade. The euro is ripe for counter trending and ranging strategies this week. Alright, Kiwi Dollar. Let's have a look. Beautiful. Kiwi Dollar. Alright, who took the trade? I called it out in the room for the aggressive to take it live, and I also said put in a pending order if you're not aggressive. I believe the pending order got triggered as well. So Ray took it. Great. Rav, Romy, great. Anybody else? Did anybody take it with a pending order, with a limit sell? Of the people who took the trade, who's still in the trade? Anyone still in the trade? No? Okay. Well, if you took it live, I think we were about there. right now you would be up about 160 pips. If you took it off the pending order, you'd be up about 190. Okay, the break was clean. If anything, this is showing classic continuation. We've just, depends where this candle closes, to be honest. This is today's candle, but if this candle closes below this level here, I really like this trade to continue to where we are expecting it to continue. Alright, sometimes patience is so important in trading. Alright, and that's what gets the risk reward to the correct ratios that we need it to be. Either way, you've picked up about 150 pips on the trade, I hope. And it's classic breakout. We watched this pattern for a very long time, so we want to get the maximum benefits for it. I don't really want to call out any other trade on the Kiwi Dollar because this is the one that I'm looking for. The only thing that I was going to have a quick look at was just going to draw another line parallel to the one that I have already. The only thing that I've noticed there is that right now that makes it 2 touches, so this is an actual parallel channel. We got plenty of touches at the top. Should I get out of this trade here? So if I was in this trade myself, okay, what I would be doing right now is possibly locking in a little bit of profit because I'm at a critical stage, but I don't want to jump completely out of the trade because if this one continues and stays down, well then it's actually broken that channel, or it's not really a channel until I get a bit of a bounce, is it? But if it goes through it, it's actually a really strong sign that it will continue to go lower. All right. So the channel, to be fair, is actually, it's not a confirmed channel, even though the current price right now is right there, and we've had one touch over there. It's not a confirmed channel until we see it bounce. Alright, because it could continue to go down there, and then you go, well, what was all the commotion about? That's not a channel. Alright, so don't get tricked into that. Does that make sense for everybody? Okay, let's have a look. Lower says, I took it but moved my stop down and stopped out for a small profit. Okay, alright. So Lois took the trade, it started to go forward, so she was in positive territory, possibly around about here somewhere, but then she moved the stop too close and got stopped out. Alright, so still took a profit but didn't get the maximum rewards. This is something that's quite normal, and this is one of the downsides of following your trade too closely because you're not giving it enough room to breathe to really capture the big movement, which is what we're after. Romy says, I took 3 profit bites and went out before non-farm payroll. Okay, that's a strategy. Concerned about the results of the non-farm numbers, so took something out of it. Not a problem. Rav says, it might be a T-chaser tomorrow. We'll have to check that. Okay. What else we got? Lois says it's a channel on a 4-hour chart. Let me have a quick look on that. Oh, in the downward direction. Sorry, my sound was off. Apologies. Okay, so let me say that again. For those of you for anybody who's a little bit more of an aggressive trader, all right, on a 4-hour chart on the the Euro AUD, we have a setup right now. Can everybody see that setup? I just circled it a little while bit ago. There we go. What have I got? What's that? It is inside candle. Thank you, Alex. Alright, so we have an inside candle set up on a line. Now we do have one fractal down there, and another fractal there, which basically means I can lock this line in, so I am happy with it. Now, it could come back and stop me out straight away, but that's the way trading goes. The risk would be around about, it's a shallow stop, 33, so probably say put a stop of about 38 pips or something like that, and you're looking for 38 for your break even. 70 is your 2-to-1 trade. So basically, if we get a bounce to about there, that's your 2-to-1 trade. Okay, and your stop is just below there. However, sorry, I forgot one thing. It's not a market entry. It's not a market entry. You need to break the top of that candle. That's your entry. And if the current candle breaks the bottom of this one, cancel the order out. It's no longer valid. Are we clear on that? So the entry will be 41.46. So let's say the entry is 41.50. 41.50. And if you get below 41.03, you need to cancel the order out. Let me draw a little line so that I remember what I'm trying to do here. There's the trade that I'm looking for. 4-hour Euro AUD. Okay, and what we're trying to do is take advantage of the uncertainty on the euro, and we've got a legitimate pattern that has formed. I'll repeat, these lines are locked in. I've got the fractal there and there, 2 touches. I've got a fractal there, I've got a fractal there, 2 touches, even 3. It's legitimate. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out. It's just the way it goes. All clear? Everybody understand that? Yep, we're all clear? Fantastic. Okay. Alright, let me review what we've done today, what we've covered. If you have any questions about anything, please type them in now while I go back and analyze and have a quick look and summarize for the week. So we have the Aussie dollar. It is exhausting a move up on a 4-hour chart. We are seeing a really nice setup. This is a really, really nice pattern. It's got a solid amount of candles. I think this could be the nicest trade that we find for the week. We just got to wait for it. Let's not panic. Let's not rush it. We could get one more bounce to the top there, and then before we get the breakdown. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for the breakdown. Euro USD. Euro USD on a daily chart. It looks to be that we could be in the formation of a channel. But before we can apply channel trading techniques, what we can do is we need to wait for a confirmation of a price action candle sequence at the bottom of the channel. Alright, so that may happen this week. It may be ready for early next week. GBP USD, we are leaving alone this week. Alright, that 155 though is very, very critical. If you make a clean break right through it, you may want to go long. Alright, so up to yourself. That 155 has been, you can see it's got a lot of memory in the market. I imagine there's a lot of orders on either side of that. So coming in there and we get a clean breakthrough could be the one that pushes us back above the 155 level. All right, but otherwise leave it alone if you're unsure. Gold, we've just spotted a new triangle on a 4-hour candle, so let's wait for the break and at the very least watch the formation of the candles just to get more experience on triangle trading. US yen, another triangle there. This one, I just get the feeling that we may come back down again before we make the final push. And when we do get through there, where if we get everything that seems to be wanting to happen, I still believe that we could be at the 128s, 25s later in the year. Alright, so fundamentally there's lots of things going for it. Technically there's lots of things going for it too. Euro yen. Okay, the counter trend, we're looking for a counter trend. There's also a counter trend opportunity on the Euro USD. Again, don't take them both. I didn't show you on the Euro USD, I showed it to you on the Euro yen. Choose one or the other. They are highly correlated. Alright. Kiwi Dollar, we are short. We should still be short. If you are not short, if you're in no trade and you want to find the trade on a 4-hour, there is a nice channel. And there could be an opportunity right there to go back to the top of this channel. Alright, so look out for that one. That's only if you're not in a trade. Alright. In theory, we are still in, and we are still searching our proper target. Euro Aussie, we can place our pending order right now on the Euro Aussie to bounce off this line. And if we break the low of this candle, make sure you cancel out your order. We do not want to be involved in that trade. Alright, that's it for this week. That's what I got. What I may do is I can't remember what I covered last week, but can someone tell me what did we cover last week? What was last week's class? Zigzag? Thank you. Zigzag. Okay, so what we might do is we might do counter trend this week, considering the euro is in that volatile, and I'll have a look at if I can give you some variations on what we've seen before, and I'll dig out my counter trend strategies, test them throughout the week, see what's working, and I might show you something new. Okay, any questions, as always, please email me. I always get back to you. Send me a screenshot, make it easy for me. I will see you all on Thursday, 3:30, and take care. Bye for now, guys.